Hey there, Kenny Baldwin here from Instead of Writing. Today I wanted to share with you a book that I read recently that I thought was very fun, A Darker Shade of Magic by V.E. Schwab, aka Victoria Schwab, aka The Knife in the Dark. I made that one up, but that would be awesome. Imagine seeing that at the bottom of a book cover. So I was interested in this book at first because it's right up my alley. I mean, we're talking about old England, we're talking about cobblestone, we're talking about magic mixed into everything. I mean, you got me. Hook, line, sinker, like a fish. A Darker Shade of Magic is the first book in the Shades of Magic series, followed by Book 2, A Gathering of Shadows, and Book 3, A Conjuring of Light. 3 books, quick trilogy. It's not like you're getting into a long-term relationship here, you know, as if you were reading Wheel of Time or something like that. See other video. And honestly, much like the original Star Wars trilogy, the second book in the trilogy happens to be my favorite. But I digress. Video today is focusing on a non-spoiler type review to answer your question, should you read A Darker Shade of Magic? And here are my quick hits for you. Number 1. The magic system is cool. It checks a lot of the boxes that we look for in a magic system for this genre, okay? You're dealing with magic that involves different types of elements, and you're dealing with a limited population that can use magic. There's great limits on the way the magic interacts with the world, which is always really nice, so that it doesn't become too fluffy fluffs. Magical magities. So, you have elemental magic, and then you have this other type of, some blood magic, and that's... Again, no spoilers, but whoa. So magic system, well done. Victoria, do you mind if I call you Victoria? I'm so sorry. Reason number 2. You can like this book because they fit an entire world of politics. We're talking like global politics, and they fit it all inside of London. Okay, it's no spoiler to tell you that there are several different Londons and different universes in this book. That's written on the back cover, I believe, so hey, if you consider that a spoiler, and you're like my father-in-law who leaves during movie previews at the movie theater. Love that guy. Okay, so you have the 4 different Londons, and you have ambassadors traveling back and forth one to another and trying to deal with these, interworld relationships, trying to understand how relations between this London and this London are working, and is this London going to come in and destroy everything? We don't know. There's lots of stuff going on. So I think that's very fun. And number 3, a reason that I really appreciate whenever I'm reading stuff, there's a great literary voice used throughout A Darker Shade of Magic. It's part whimsical, part snark, maybe snideness. I'm not even sure what to say. It's not just fluffy whimsical like J.K. Rowling. It's more, it's a little more gritty in some ways. For example, there aren't a lot of characters that are just purely 100% lovable. There's no Frodo Baggins who's going to and Samwise Gamgee who's going to just bear the ring all the way to Mount Doom and just take whatever punches they're going to take. No, instead, it's a little bit more George R.R. Martin, I guess, in some ways, where every character is going to have their ups and every character is going to have their downs. And that characterization combined with the literary voice that's still a little tongue-in-cheek and satirical in what you would expect from a book that takes place in England, I think it is a fun combination. So here's a quick non-spoiler lowdown to kind of here's the tease I'm going to give you to see if you're interested, all right? The story follows 3 different characters, okay? You have Kell, you have Lila Bard, and you have Rye, Prince Rye. Rye is the prince of what they call Red London. Kell is one of 2 known Antari, okay? And the Antari are people who can use and manipulate and work with all of the different types of elemental magic. Most people kind of only drift toward one of them. Kind of similar, I guess, in some ways to Brandon Sanderson's Mistborn idea. But Kell has been adopted into the Red London royal family. Where did he come from? I'm not going to tell you. But he and Rye have kind of grown up as brothers. Then Lila, on the other hand, is kind of like a sneak thief. It's impossible to try to read her in anything but a Cockney accent. You got to use your best Cockney accent when you're reading Lila Bard. If you could talk out of the side of your mouth the whole time, I think you're doing Lila Bard right. Like we mentioned, there's 4 different Londons, but each London has a different relationship with magic. In one London, magic has completely overwhelmed everything. In another London, they've struck this balance. In another London, they don't really deal with magic. They don't know what it is. I think that's the closest to our London in the real world. Not that London isn't a magical place. Kell works for the Red London royal family, going back and forth as an ambassador, and more or less everybody fears what they call Black London, because Black London is a very scary place with very scary magic, and no one wants, they've sealed it off. One of the more interesting aspects of the novel, though, that make it worth reading, really is the way Kell's relationships evolve with the people around him. He starts out as kind of this, things are weird between him and his adoptive brother, Rye. Things are weird between him and the snake thief Lila Bard. Things are weird between him and his parents who adopted him. Things are weird between him and another Antari. There's a lot of weird relationships that he's got to figure out. You get the picture. As Kell tries to wrangle his personal feelings, working with all these different relationships, you get to see him evolve and mature and make discoveries about his character, not just in the dangerous and exciting magical setting, but kind of within himself. And that's what makes the novel worth the time. There's the take-home value for you. Also, there are some dark magical artifacts that may keep you up at night, and that makes every book better for some reason. So if you're still on the fence about the book, that's fine, because there is a movie production in the works. As of this date, we are in summer 2020 right now, but in, I think, 2017, Sony announced that they were going to be creating a film adaptation. They brought on Gerard Butler's production company, and they brought on the screenwriter of the John Wick movies, Derek Kolstad. There hasn't really been an announcement on it since October. We have to assume that Derek is just working away on that screenplay, and hopefully we'll get to see something pretty soon. I mean, come on, how long are we going to have to wait before we get to see Antari on the big screen? Let's go, Derek. Let's go. Anyway, I think you should check out the book if you get a chance. It's definitely worth a read. I think the whole trilogy is good, although I do have some feelings on book 3. And let's fight each other in the comments. But again, just preface your comment with, this comment contains spoilers. I think a lot of people are coming here, haven't read the book, but are interested in reading the book, and we don't want to give anything away. I shouldn't have to train you about spoilers, and I don't think I have to. But let me know if you've read A Darker Shade of Magic in the comments, because I need more friends to talk to this stuff about. In other news, if you've been watching the channel for a little while, I apologize. I took a little bit of a hiatus because I've been working like crazy on revisions to the sequel of my first novel, The Crimson Inkwell. Book number 2 in the Llewellyn Winthrop trilogy, The Silver Current, is due out in August. And so I've been writing like crazy on that. It's been taking up a lot of my time, but I'm so excited to share what I've been working on with you. And nervous. I don't know why I felt writing a sequel is actually much, much harder than writing a standalone or the first in a series, because it has a lot of stuff to reconcile, But yeah, The Silver Current's coming out this August, published by indie publishing label Ebernian Books. You can go check it out on their website or on my website. I'll drop a link in the description. If you get a chance, I would be thrilled if you got to pick up a copy of The Crimson Inkwell and The Silver Current when it comes out, and let me know what you think about it. Anyway, that's it for me. I'm going to get back to working on my next trip. Well, I guess I finished that draft. And then on to another story. Storytellers are never done. We've always got more to say.